Hello. Oh, no. Hi. Welcome to Yo Soy Neighborhoods Fresno. Today's April 21st, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. It's been really pretty outside, nice and sunny and a little breezy, and we need to enjoy that while we can. It's going to be getting warm pretty quick here, and hopefully some of us will start to get to go back to work and and get back to that busy bee. So today we have a doctor, right? PhD doctor, Daren.
No. I have an EDD, the educational side.
EDD.
Yes,
What?
educational doctorate.
Educational doctorate.
Right.
Okay. Uh, Daren, he threw me off. Daren Miller, and he's here to. Now you're part of the census group. Are you one of the district managers or something?
No. I'm not officially a part of the census. It's just a lot of the organizations that I work with inside the community is very active, ensuring that people are participating in the census.
Okay. Yeah, because I signed up. I'm going to be a part-time worker.
Good.
Oh, we'll
Are
see.
you actually going to be going out canvassing, or how are you going to be doing that?
It's like a supervisor position, so I'm only going to be given the cases that perhaps didn't sign up at all or having difficulty
Okay.
answering questions.
That starts June, correct?
Yeah, so we're kind of like backed up because of this virus situation.
Mhm. Well, I mean, one of the things that people can do, and I was able to do my address as well as my parents' address in about 5 minutes, is to go to the website, and actually it takes you right through it. You answer the questions best you can. Um, it's even so easy as like my youngest son lives between two households, my parents' house and another house,
Hmm.
and they don't care. They want you to list them on there, and just put that he's a part-time resident there, and then whoever they have the other address,
Uh-huh.
they'll put him on there that way, and then the information will be picked up. But one of the reasons why I'm pretty active with what's going on with the census is that our area and traditionally the Central Valley in California traditionally is undercounted,
Hmm.
because we have a lot of people who do not participate in census.
Yeah.
In particular, our immigrant population, those that are here on green cards, those that are here, that are undocumented workers here, also should be counted in the census.
Uh-huh.
And people don't really understand that. And I use the reference of back in prior to 1863, I think it was 1865, when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, there were slaves. And slaves were not citizens of this country either, but they were counted in the census.
Hmm.
If you go back to the census records, 1800, 1810, 1820, you will find references to the enslaved population at that particular time,
Hmm.
because it was a matter of representation. And so now for the conservative Americans, conservative political advocates to push for people to identify themselves as a citizen or not, that has nothing to do with the census. And so that's one of the reasons why I got really involved in this and making sure that all the groups that I'm involved with
Hmm.
understand those parameters, and then they understand how to participate.
Right. It's important because your our grants, our federal funding and whatnot is based on the numbers of people. I mean, they have per capita, don't they? On how they.
Roads, the federal dollars that we get for roads, the federal dollars that we get for hospitals, the monies that we get for services that are provided to citizens who are in need, all of that is based off of the information and data that is retrieved via the census, and that's how they calculate the disbursements, and so that's why it's important.
That helps with the Medi-Cal and the Medicaid and the
Correct.
Medicare and the social services as well, doesn't it?
Anything that's funded federally,
Hmm.
that's the formula that they use. It's based off of the numbers they have for the census. I'm not sure exactly how that extrapolates out with the state, but I do know that all the federal monies that we get, so for our federal highways, our hospitals, education,
Mhm.
There's a lot of different avenues that are federally funded, and that's why it's important that we make sure that every person, babies from newborns. So I have a couple of friends who just had babies, that are a couple of weeks old. They need to make sure that they count them in their census count, that they have a new baby in the household, because
Uh,
he's not going to be able to be counted. That person's not going to be able to be counted for another 10 years.
right.
And that's 10 years of services or 10 years of allocations that we may not be able to get.
Right, right. That's true. Well, I hope everybody understands and they do sign up, and I guess I'll find out firsthand, right?
If I can I share my screen with you, and hopefully everybody can pick this up. I can kind of walk people through.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Um, let me make sure I know how to do this. Share my screen.
That's okay. I mean, it takes its trial and error.
Oops. So this is share.
Hmm. Is that what you wanted to share?
No, that's you. I think you see my my startup page. I'm trying to get to my Google account.
Huh.
There. Oh no, that's not it. Come on, computer. There we go.
It's way too
Can you see it now?
Shape your future. Start here.
So this is the website here. Let me go back. If a person goes and they punch in just U.S. Census or 2020 Census, it
Uh-huh.
will take them to this site here. It says complete the 2020 Census today. All you do is you click on there.
Uh-huh.
Takes you to this page here. You go down to shape your future, start here, or here to respond. This is information. We'll share information about what you're doing. Going to this right here, start here, will actually let you respond.
Okay.
Goes to this page here. As you can see, there's a button there that says start questionnaire.
Uh-huh.
You go to this spot here. Everybody's address should have received a mailer probably about 6 weeks ago. It's been over a month now.
Right.
And it's got a 12-digit code on it. So if they have that information, then they can punch in that 12-digit code in these boxes, and it will take them right to their specific address.
Yeah, I did.
You can,
that.
huh?
It did that from mine.
Yeah, but if you don't have that information, if you don't have that 12-digit login, you can click here where it says if you do not have the census ID, you click on here, and it takes you to this. I don't want to go any further because I don't want to. Well, I guess I can. So if you live in the United States or District of Columbia, you click here. If you're in Puerto Rico, here. If you're like in American Virgin Islands or one of the other territories, you would click here. So let's click on this one. Next, and then you punch in your address.
Right.
And then once you punch in your address on this sheet and you hit next, it will take you to your actual census information, and then you just fill in the information there. So it's pretty simple.
Right. No, it was fairly simple, and then it's just you save it. If you want a copy, you can save a copy for yourself, and then at the other you send it off, and it's gone.
So here's another good feature on here also. Say you're homeless at this particular point, you don't have an actual physical address. You can actually click on here, see where my pointer is. I do not have a street address. You can actually click on there and go next, and you can actually put your information individually in there for the census.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
So if you click next, it will take you here. Rural route address, no. Actually, even some of the places in the rural areas don't have addresses. I didn't realize that. They have stop numbers and those types of things. And so, yeah, this information is the way they've got it set up for the census. It is so simplistic. I don't understand why a person would not go through and complete this information.
Well, I think in most cases it'll be people that were packing or unpacking and it got lost or something like that.
But like I said, even if you don't have that 12-digit code, you can actually just punch in your physical address, because that's what I did for my parents. I actually have my code for my address, and I went through and used that code for my address. But then I went back in there and punched in my parents' address and was able to log them in as well.
Oh, that was Yeah, that was great. So, Daren, why don't you share with everyone a little bit about your background?
Well, I mean, I spent the last. I'm gonna stop sharing that screen there. I've been spent the last 30 years in public education, K-12 here in the area.
As,
Worked in Fresno Unified, Washington Unified, Clovis Unified for a year. For the last 14 years, I've been in Madera Unified, working. I was a principal when I first went there, and then subsequently wound up finishing or being demoted into my position now as a counselor. But been there for the last 14 years. Hoping next year to be able to get out of K-12. I'm looking for a position right now to move into community college. So I'm looking to transition now.
oh, okay. So, community college in Madera or Fresno or wherever they decide to.
Well, it's all the same district. It's part of the State Center Community College District.
Uh-huh.
And so I've got applications in both sides. Actually, Madera next year will be its own standalone campus. It'll
Uh-huh.
be Madera Community College next year. It will no longer be under the auspices of Reilly College.
Hmm.
And so I've got an application in there. I've got an application in at Fresno City College.
What class are you going to teach?
No. Well, I'm hoping not to. My goal is to get in administration, either in counseling or director of one of the programs or something along those lines.
Oh,
I will be, hopefully this fall, I'll be an adjunct professor in the counseling department, teaching one class online in the fall. But
oh,
my ultimate goal is not necessarily to be a professor, it's to get into administration.
oh, okay. So, from a counselor into administration, whatever, what part of administration? I mean, the business administration, the.
No. The instructional side, what's going on with instruction and student services.
Oh,
So those interactions between the professors and the students in the classroom is where I'm interested in. Also the programmatic side with student services, dealing with counseling, disabled students, what's called dual enrollment, where you've got high school students now that are, when they graduate from high school, will get their high school diploma as well as their AA degree from the community college. So I'm looking to get into one of those particular areas at the community college level.
oh, okay. That sounds kind of specialized. I mean, how did you get?
Well, yes and no. I mean, it's not necessarily specialized, but it is an expanding niche. Currently we have the K-12 level has what's called career technical education, CTE. At the community college level, they call it pathways, but it's all based on career exploration, meaning for the students to be able to identify what careers they want to go on and move into after they get done with school. And so we used to call it industrial technologies back in the day when we were in school.
Do they like test, take tests to figure out where they fit in, or is that
Well, it's not necessarily a test. They're called assessments.
okay?
So there's a myriad of different assessments that they can take. True colors. There's some vocational inventories. And so as an example, maybe the student goes online and punches it, ask a batteries of questions. Do you like working alone or do you like working with people? You click on that. Do you like working inside or do you like working outside? You click on there. Do you like numbers, or do you like working with people? Do you like
Oh,
health? Or I mean, they ask you these general questions, and
uh,
then after you click through the different battery of those questions, at the very end of it, then it will give you a summary and say, based on the way that you answer these questions, you are more likely to be interested in the healthcare field. And then they'll tell you nursing, doctor, psychology, those type of things. Or you're more apt to be working by yourself in a particular, you don't like working with other people. So maybe you might want to be a
so
mathematician or something along those lines.
it narrows it down for people so that they have, instead of having 30 items to choose from, they have 10.
Um, well, in some cases, it makes it go from 50 or 100 down to 30.
Oh,
But you got students who say they want to be a teacher because their parents maybe were in education, but then they'll answer the question: Do you like kids? Do you like working with kids? Do you not like working with kids? They'll mark: I don't like working with kids. They'll tell you they want to be a doctor, but do you can you work with blood or can you not? And they'll say, no, I don't want to work with blood. So so it's those types of illuminations that come out of that assessment that they take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's good. I mean, at least it helps them narrow down the choices, because you could be all over the place choosing classes and,
And I tell students all the time, and the kids I work with now, I work with middle school students, but then when I was at the high school, I tell them all the time, what do you want to do? What do you think would be a cool job? And I tell them the only unacceptable answer is IDK. And they're like, Mr. Miller, what is that? And then IDK stands for I don't know. I can help you get to be anything you want to be in life, an astronaut, a movie star, a baker, a policeman. I can help funnel you and direct you into any profession you want to go into except for IDK.
So they always have an answer.
Well, no, not always, but at least when I tell them that, it gets them to thinking about, I can't say I don't know because Mr. Miller is not going to like that answer. So at least I can come up with, come up with some other answer.
Figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit, you were saying that you're on the board.
Yeah, I was appointed to Fresno County Office of Ed board representing Area 3, which is mainly the city of Fresno. Fresno Unified is the biggest portion that biggest school district that I have. Mm-hmm. I was appointed when Nelson Esparza, who was elected to the city council in 2018, when he took over his position on the city council in January 2019, there was an opening on the board.
So
I went through a process and was appointed to that. And so I'm actually a candidate. I'll be running to retain this position this November.
Oh, well, so does everyone's familiar with you then, right?
Well, not everyone, but hopefully they will become more familiar with me over the next
you should have brought
3 or 4 months.
Or something so we can running.
Well, I mean, although I'm a candidate, I'm still actually had a conversation today. Sacramento, because of the virus, there is with the Secretary of State's office, you have to submit paperwork to them before you can be officially declared a candidate. Well, they're all working from home. And so I've sent information to them. They said that I did it. It was an error on it. They sent it back to me. I never received it. So I resent it on yesterday. Resent it on Sunday. And I guess they got it today. And so one of the people there in the office called me today to clarify what was going on.
Uh-huh.
So they're going to be sending it back to me so that I can correct my error and then sign it, re-sign it, and send it back to them. But and then once they say what you get is it's called a Fair Political Practice Committee number, FPPC number.
Okay.
You have to have that before you can start to spend or take in funds. And so you're really not a candidate until after you get your FPPC number. And so I'm hoping to get that completed in the next week to 10 days. So
well, give people your contact information so they can volunteer for your campaign.
By all means. Well, I don't have a website up yet, but the website will be my name, elect Daren Miller. Daren is so it's ELECTDAREN MILLER, and will be I have my Gmail account is at gmail.com, so people can email me now, but that will be my website when I get it up. Elect Daren Miller will be electdarenmiller.com.org will be the website for them to be able to get to, but it's not set up. It probably won't be set up until probably June.
Okay.
I'm figuring that I'll do an official launch in June. And it's going to be interesting how I do that, given that we will probably be still in some type of virtual reality as we're doing now, trying to figure out how I can do an actual virtual launch and be able to make sure that I get the information out to as many people as possible.
Well, we watched that concert the other day, right?
Which concert?
I
didn't.
Concert?
For whom? I missed it. I didn't see that.
Oh, you didn't? With Lady Gaga?
Oh, no, I didn't see that. I'm not a Lady Gaga fan, but no, I didn't see that.
I mean, she had Celine Dion and Bocelli and people from all over the countries, all the different countries, really.
I didn't see that. Well, today, since you're talking about music, I mean, I've been kind of reminiscing today because one of my all-time favorite artists died today 4 years ago. That was Prince.
Oh,
And so, yeah, all day today via emails not emails, but on Facebook and messengers, Instagram and stuff. A lot of my friends who are also big Prince fans have been sending out information. So I've been able to reminisce a little bit, listen to some of his concerts that people are posting and those type of things. But
well,
I didn't realize that people were doing concerts virtually.
they're doing an honorary thing in Prince's name this week.
Where?
It's going to be on the tube. And
On TV?
yeah.
I missed that also. What channel? Do you know?
No, I think it's on NBC.
I will have to look for that tonight. I'm not a big TV watcher other than watching, movies and Netflix, that type of stuff. I'm kind of I'm a big, I tell people that this all the time. The only time I really watch TV is when it has a score. So I need some kind of game. I need some kind of wins and losses in order for it to keep my attention. Other than movies, I watch a lot of movies.
Like basketball, football, or all of them?
All of them. I mean, I'm not, they all, I can, like when I do stuff, if I'm on the computer working on things, there may be a game on. And a lot of times I'll cut the sound off so that the sound doesn't distract me, but I'm able to look up and watch, different things. So that's one good thing about the coronavirus is I've been able to watch a lot of reruns. So they've had a bunch of the old Super Bowls, a bunch of the old NBA championships, the World Series. I'm a big soccer fan. I was able to watch the 2018, some of the games from the 2018 World Cup the other day. So I'm still kind of getting
that Jordan,
the documentary.
Yes.
I haven't seen that. People have been talking about it, but I haven't had a chance to watch it. So I probably will watch it after it's all done, so I can binge watch it. I'm a great binge watcher also. So I get hooked on something and I'll watch it for 4 or 5 days in a row until I get through 4 or 5 seasons. And
I'll enjoy it while you can. It's pretty soon it'll be all over and we'll be out roaming the town again.
Well, if you're in Tennessee, Georgia, and South Carolina, I think it is, or I think it's South Carolina or West Virginia. West Virginia and South Carolina. Those are the 3 states that are going to be opening up. I think it's on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're already opening up, and the guy in Georgia is taking the governor of Georgia. He's taking a pounding today because he opened up barbershops, estheticians, or what is it? The people who do makeup, type of things, massages, all these things that have one-to-one contact where you can't do any social distancing. He opened up like 3 or 4 different types of job descriptions like that, and people are just beating him up today about it.
They have to eat too.
Yeah, I mean they do, but I mean, it's just interesting. Like I was out today, I told you I take care of my parents. Well, not just so much I take care of them, but I get a lot of their stuff. So I've been trying to get cleaning products for the house, looking for Clorox products, which is you'd have to go to Mars probably now to get them. So in my wisdom today, I took a ride went to Costco because they needed toilet paper and paper towels and those type of things. And so I'll get them in bulk going there and not have to worry about it for a while. So I went to Hanford, because I figured that the Costco's here would be the last couple of times I went out to Costco, the line was incredibly long to get in there. So I figured I'll go to Hanford. They give me 45-minute drive down, 45-minute drive down or back. And it was just interesting seeing the people inside. And I would say probably there were more people inside that didn't have face coverings and gloves on than there weren't.
Oh.
And so it's just interesting, kind of, I'm a big time people watcher. And so there's, Kings County has only I looked at the information before I went down there. They've had 1 death. And I want to say they've only had like 40 people. I think it was 40.
Well, I was reading something about Governor Newsom that apparently he really has been micromanaging well enough that he's been able to control the number of deaths. Do you feel that that's a true statement or situation?
Yes and no. I wouldn't necessarily call it micromanaging. I just think that he's offered up some very, very, very good and timely suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
I think the people who really, really, really need to be applauded are the six mayors in the Bay Area. If you remember, London Breed in San Francisco, the mayor of Oakland, is it Schaff? Libby? No, I forget her name. There's a lady that's in Oakland, the mayor in San Jose, and then there was three other cities that were there in the Bay Area that probably about 8 to 10 weeks ago said we're doing a shelter in place. They didn't wait.
Oh.
And then so after that point in time, the governor came along and made his declaration. Tony Thurman, our state superintendent of instruction for the school,
Mm-hmm.
for schools in California, he made a declaration or a suggestion the
Mm-hmm.
schools be shut down for the rest of the year. And so, yeah, we've been out in front of it. But I think one of the models that I think that California should be most proud of is that the ultimate decisions were made at the local levels from the city mayors
Mm-hmm.
made those decisions, and then they were ultimately backed by the governor. So I think that's kind of the best way to be able to handle this, because say those six mayors in the Bay Area waited on the governor, and he makes a declaration that we're going to shelter in place, and everybody does that, and all of a sudden now Oakland mayor says, nope, we're going to, April 30th, we're going to open up barbershops, massage places, facial places, those type of things. Well, that's going to jeopardize the whole entire Bay Area. And so I think that those mayors work in coordination in that particular area, which we're also seeing with our governors. California, Oregon, and Washington made a collective. It's New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Delaware, and some other people there in the
Oh, yes,
East
yes.
Coast. In
Uh-huh.
the Midwest, it's
Mm-hmm.
Ohio,
That's,
Michigan, and some other folks that did a collaborative.
mm-hmm.
They want to work together to kind of open up their particular region, because they're going to have transportation and travel between those particular states.
Right, right. Well, I think, when all of this broke to where they really, really started pushing that this is a real virus. This is something that's very deadly, and you're not quite grasping at people. And then that's when I think most of us got pretty excited, and CMAC closed, and that, everybody went home, and we're all just trying to zero in on exactly how bad this was. And so,
Have you seen the documentary on PBS called, I think it's called 1918 Epidemic or 1918 Pandemic?
no, I haven't done that yet, but we have been reading various scientific articles, and one of the ones that we read last night was they were describing how the virus attacks the body organs. It's because of the blood, the center sheath, I guess, of the blood, that are your blood vessels, that it kind of, the virus, it packs itself in there, and then it starts to degrade all of your blood.
I'm not sure how it all affects the body physiologically. That documentary on PBS talks more about how the virus transmitted itself.
Oh, yeah.
And there are some great examples. They attributed the start of that, what they call the Spanish flu, is what they were calling it in 2018. They attributed that it was started at a military installation in Kansas.
A military
A
installation?
military installation in Kansas, and they were burning human waste, and it was so much of it that it created a cloud over whatever the base was that was there. I want to say like 5 days later, there were servicemen who were complaining about, having coughs. They had these rashes, and then within a matter of a few days, they were dying. And then just after that is when the United States, decided that they were going to enter into what was going on with World War I. And so then we had the pandemic, had the epidemic here, and then we started sending servicemen across the Atlantic on boats to go fight in Europe. And then, because all the troops over there, the Germans were affected by it, the Russians were affected by it. It was pretty devastating to those service people who were fighting on the front lines.
Right, right.
Um,
Well, this is this COVID-19 is similar. It's a consumption type of disease, similar to what was suffered during that Spanish flu
mhm.
time. Uh, and they couldn't find anything. Well, I don't think they really had the wherewithal to discover a drug to take care of it. Really, wasn't
No,
tuberculosis.
they did eventually wind up with a vaccination.
Hmm.
And it tells a story about how they kind of talk about how the virus, they attribute it to starting in Kansas. They attribute it to the servicemen, the U.S. servicemen going over to, um, going across the Atlantic to Europe, fighting, and then coming back that fall, and it picking up again. When the servicemen were coming back, they
Oh,
were bringing the virus back with them,
oh,
and they thought they had it under control. And then I think it was Philadelphia that had a huge, I want to say it was, must have been Labor Day. There was some huge parade that they had in
function of
Philadelphia,
right.
in the fall of 2018, and then I had a huge outbreak, from that parade, and then it just kind of took itself across the United States,
Right.
got all the way to San Francisco. They had issues in San Francisco in the Bay Area at that time,
Well,
and then kind of as soon as it showed up,
uh-huh.
it kind of disappeared, and then
Yeah,
they were able to come up with a vaccination after that.
right. Well, this is what Governor Newsom is afraid of also is the second go around, because if that catches hold, that could cause a lot more damage than what's going
Right.
on right now. And our really, I'm kind of happy that it kind of exposed the infrastructure or the lack thereof of hospitals, and we need a lot more personnel, and we need our structures, insurance, the drugs, everything looked at and restructured and figure out different amounts, obviously different amounts of storage that we actually need to shelter those supplies for a rainy day for this situation,
Right.
and get more people trained, more nurses,
Right.
more doctors.
Right.
So in a way, I mean, we've been just kind of riding the waves and not really tending to the items that are necessary to protect ourselves. So that I'm kind of happy for that part of it. I'm sad about, losing the people, and we're still not safe even now, even if they open this up. And what is it, the our county is until May 6th or something like that.
Yeah. I'm not sure how. I don't remember the date on our shelter in place, but
I,
I know that all the experts are saying that kind of our peak
mm,
is like right now. It was last week and this week,
mm.
possibly the following week is kind of when we're the most susceptible here in California.
Well,
Um,
I somehow, it just seems to me that it's just too light in comparison to all the other places. I'm like, oh my goodness, is it just going to be like a little wave all of a sudden and we're not looking?
right.
So that's a worrisome thing, but we're going to have to go. I hope, how are we doing here in Fresno with our structures? You're getting all caught up, getting
Uh,
settled in with, I noticed they were giving out computers to laptops to some of the
mhm.
kids that didn't have that type of device. And
Yeah, many of the school districts throughout Fresno County and the area, Madera, Tulare, and Kings counties,
mm,
have been going through some type of process to get technology into students' hands. But
mm,
it goes back to the issues that you brought up earlier that you talked about is, yeah, you can have a computer, but if you don't have Wi-Fi connectivity, if you don't have a hardline accessibility to it, you
right.
just got a shiny object that's going to sit on your table. Um,
Mm,
and so that's some of the issues that we're having, not in the metropolitan area so much, but the rural areas, the Hurons,
right.
the Three Rocks,
As all,
up in the hills. They're going to have connectivity issues, and so one of the things that's going to happen with education is we're going to have to come up with a new game plan.
mhm,
We're going to have to, K-12 educators are going to have to find a way to educate kids virtually. And right now, we haven't thought about that. Can you imagine a kindergarten teacher trying to do virtual instruction with 20 kindergartners? Be very, very, very interesting about how you would do that. And
In
we
the
haven't even
different space.
scratched the surface about that. But we have to, because think about it. One of the conversations we had last week at our board meeting was, this time it's the pandemic, but in California, it could be an earthquake.
Right.
In other areas, it could be a hurricane, it could be a tornado, it could be we had the devastating fire in Paradise a couple of years ago where the whole town was burned up. So what happens to those children and those teachers when they can't get back to a building, a rock and steel and mortar building?
Right.
How then do you go through the educational process? And
Right.
we as a state have not looked at that in totality. And so I know that's part of the discussion that's going on at the state. I know that's part of the discussion that's going on, at least here in Fresno County. What's going to happen? How can we educate our kids in the K-12 arena virtually?
Well, Governor Newsom mentioned it. He said, well, we hadn't thought about it. We have no infrastructure or guidelines for that. And he also mentioned the same thing I did, the broadband. We need to get a little more of the broadband. I don't see as many cell towers around here. Like when I was in Carlsbad or northern Orange County, North Orange County, there are a lot of cell towers. I think maybe we need to encourage people to allow those cell towers on their property. They get paid for it.
Correct. Well, even where I'm at right now, my cell service here, I'm in a dead zone.
Right.
And it's just in my neighborhood right here. Once I get outside of my neighborhood, I'm fine. But I can't have conversations with people on cell phone when I'm in here inside my house.
Well, thank you for mentioning those dead zones. I thought I was the only one complaining.
No. We've got quite a few around here. But I mean, and our President Trump, he has a great opportunity here to do something. We just passed the Senate today, I guess, passed another stimulus.
More money.
I don't know how many billions of dollars it is.
I think it's trillions.
I'm sorry, trillions. How many ever trillions of dollars it was?
Oh.
So the whole thing about it is instead of giving people handouts, which the conservatives are always saying they are tired of giving people handouts.
Right.
Let's get people back to work. And as you're talking about the infrastructure with the cell towers, and that whole network is something that can be bolstered throughout the whole entire country. So why not take those types of opportunities to invest in people through work and through something that's beneficial for our country to move us forward? And then those are not even the discussions that we're having right now.
Yeah, and when I was in Carlsbad, the church that I went to down the street, they had some right there, and that helped to take care of the church, so it's valuable. It's something that's useful. So people need to think about it. And
it's unfortunate a place like Carlsbad can get that done, and here in Fresno, with the metropolitan area of over 600,000 people, the fifth largest city in the fifth richest economy, California is the fifth richest economy in the whole world. Why can't we get that done here in Fresno?
That's a good question. I didn't know you had to have special permission, but it's right there in the downtown area. It's not very far. You could walk to City Hall. It's
there are some permissions that need to be done. There's some rules with the FCC. We know how they transmit different things. There are some rules and regulations and some hoops that you have to go through. But why are we not getting it done? Obviously, Carlsbad did it. I know that there's other cities. There's a city that I'm familiar with that's just outside of Seattle, I believe it is. They did the same thing. Their whole city was basically fortified to be able to have internet and Wi-Fi accessibility. Why can't we do that here?
Well, since we have some free time, maybe we should get together and figure that out and give some ideas, share the ideas and then see if we can get a few people on board. I mean, because I'm sure there are different segments to, what I'm saying, to get it to work. There's probably step 1, step 2, step 3, and then we have to put it all together. And oh my goodness, usually they want a report of some sort, they want the analytics. So, that
I can tell them I'm sitting in a cell phone dead zone. I can give them personal firsthand information about that.
Okay, well, it's been great. It's wonderful, and I hope the census goes great. And Keep us in tune with what's going on with the school
Will do.
changes. And I'll see you soon. I
Okay.
guess I'll go to one of Mickey's groups.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing her as well. We're supposed to be doing one of our groups is going to be meeting virtually 2 Saturdays from now. So I'm looking forward to seeing her then.
Oh, yay. That'll be nice. Okay. Well, you take care, Daren,
All right.
and
Take care.
we'll talk to you later. Appreciate your time.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye. I think you can just go out. Thank you for joining us at Yo Soy Neighborhoods Fresno. And next time, I hope you join the conversation. Tuesday, we're going to have Martha Joe, and she is an elder's attorney, and she's going to review the processing of trusts and a health directive. And we're in this situation right now, and I think we need to think about getting this done so that you don't die with, if something were to happen to you or even myself, you have some kind of direction as to what you would like to things to be done or how they should be handled for you or in your behalf. All right, so we'll see you in a few days. You take care, and thank you for tuning in to Yo Soy Neighborhoods Fresno.